Okay, we're here to look at the metric system in Unit 1 for CP Physics. You're probably already familiar with the metric system, so we're going to keep this nice and short. But just some basic units of measurements we have are things like length, volume, time. Length is measured in meters, volume is in liters, and time is in the natural seconds. We also have mass, force, and weight. Mass measured in grams. More often than not, though, we'll use kilograms for that, but technically kilo is a prefix, which we'll talk about. Force as a Newton. In an English unit, which is or imperial, the non-metric system, force is actually we can think of it as pounds, but we often think as pounds as a weight. And you'll notice that force and weight have these same units because they are, in theory, the same thing. We'll talk more about forces later on this year when we get to one of our later units, but right now we'll just kind of go through this real quick. Some of the prefixes we've got are mega, kilo, centimilli, micro, and nano. There are more than these. You can go to pico down here, but we have these abbreviations. They just go in front of whatever unit you have. So if I had something like a microliter, I could write it as like micro and then liter. And then we've got these numerical meanings. What these means are like times 10 to the something here, and that's like a million or thousands or hundreds or 1,000th. We'll know these are decimals or fractional amounts. So you're probably somewhat familiar with this. It's really to convert within the metric system. It's just a matter of moving a decimal point to the left or right, and to do this is a pretty straightforward procedure. What we'll do is we'll look at our two metric prefixes we have from what we have and what we're going to, and by doing that we can just take an idea of how many decimals this needs to move. To do this, so we subtract the power of the new prefix from the given one. So in our first example here, we have meters and we're going to centimeters. So the new prefix is centimeters, so we'll look at this exponential power here, this factor here, minus 2, and we'll subtract that from the base unit, or whatever we had previously. Now previously we just had meters and there was no metric prefix there. So the way this will look is what we have, 0, and then minus, and we have here a negative 2. Well, 0 minus negative 2 is positive 2, so that means that we're going to move the decimal point 2 places, and since it's a positive number, to the right. So here's our decimal place here, 1, 2. This is going to become 619.5 centimeters. And that makes sense because a meter is about the length of your arm. That's 100 centimeters there. So if we've got 6 lengths of your arm, that's 619 centimeters. Okay, and so this is how it works out here. For another quick example on this, if we wanted to go micrometers to centimeters, we're kind of going a different way. Micrometers, those are micrometers, and these are centimeters. What we have for micro is minus 6, and then we're subtracting minus centi, which is minus 2 again. So we've got minus 6 and minus 2. So negative 6 minus negative 2, well, that's like negative 6 plus 2, which is negative 4. So we're going to move this decimal, which for the 57 is actually right here, and we're going to move that 4 spaces to the left. So 1, 2, and then there's no other numbers here, but that's okay because we can think about there being leading zeros here, and that would be 3, 4. So our decimal place would be here, and it's 0.0057. And 57 micrometers is a very small amount. For centimeters, which are larger, we have like a fractional amount of centimeters, 0.0057. So that's the quick little way to convert metric prefixes. We just take the first whatever we have for the numerical factor, these values right here, and we subtract the new numerical factor from that, and then just move left or right some amount. So with that, this is finished. Go try some of those practice problems and see how you do. Adios.